Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, everything's ready here, I just need to change. At least I only have a few hours before the upload, but I need to record if I want the upload done. But at least my clothing is my only problem right now. And it's not like I had any other problem this year with. YouTube!
Back when you first came into my life, I recalled a place that I knew as a child, a special place, one that I held close to my heart. Won't you lead me in a dance down this winding road, where light and shadow entwine to take hold of the thoughts of the one left far behind. Know that sometimes I want to turn around and see the things that I've passed on the journey, but know with love on my side, with courage and pride I'll fight, I will carry on. Bit by bit I'm falling under your charm, you'll keep me and all the world far from harm. Bring hope to everyone, take in your hands eternity. Even when it seems that I don't need you, just know that I am in love, can't wait.
Yeah, I totally need a haircut. Oh, wait, I'm on. Oh god. Hey everybody, and welcome to the 4th annual Top 10. That's right, it's already the 4th one. Time flies, doesn't it? And this year, we thought that this was going to be a quiet year in the Reenactment side. I mean, I've been working hard on Reenactment episode 300 lately. And I just finished and released episode 299, so until I release episode 300, there won't be any more reenactments. Sorry about that. But once episode 200 is out, then the reenactments of the Dragon Ball series will resume. Now, this year I thought that nothing but that was going on, and then I got that message from YouTube. Thank you, YouTube Red, for blocking my videos in the United States. But anyway, what you're here for today is to celebrate the end of the year by watching the top 10 reenactments and the top 10 what if stories. Well, I should probably say top 10 reverse stories because Dragon Ball Reverse takes on once again this year. So, I'm not gonna waste any more of your time, guys, and let's get started with number 10. And meanwhile, I'm gonna arrange my clothing. So, number 10. Number 10, Fusion Reborn. That's right, guys. In the 10th position, the last position of our top 10 this year, we have actually a newcomer. And that newcomer is this one, the movie reenactment of Fusion Reborn. Now, this one is special because this movie was actually reenacted before I lost my first and original channel. And this also marks the first time, the original first time, where I actually used the game Ultimate Tenkaichi for my reenactments. Because I know I said it was the first time last year in my other reenactments, but it was the first time after remaking them. This, however, is the first time ever. Which means I had to play the whole game to get that footage here. And getting this done and over with wasn't very easy because, as you can see demonstrated here, while the cutscenes happens in the very similar way that they happen in the anime, I can't really hide all of the QTE cutscenes. I mean, I was able to hide most of it, but not all of it. So, editing Ultimate Tenkaichi, especially in the scenes where it has the cutie events, that was a pain. But either way, it sure made the movie even better than it sure could have been, considering that I could use these. And that's about all I got to say about this one. Let's move on to the next one. Number 9. Plan to eradicate the Super Saiyans. Would you look at that? The number 9 of our top 10 is also a newcomer. And what makes this newcomer very special is the fact that it was a very early on reenactment. That's right, this reenactment was one of the very first ones. Well, it wasn't the first one, obviously, but it was one of the very first movies to be done. And as you can tell here, this was done very early on because of the quality in the recording here. As you can tell by the quality of the image, it's very different. I mean, I look at it right now and as far as I'm concerned, that image is shitty. But what also makes this reenactment special is that this is the first, and up to this day I believe, the only one where you have used game music for the intro. You know, that opening that I do right before the title screen? I actually used the Raging Blast 2 music for this one, and that's the only one where I did that. The reason is because the main villain of this reenactment was the new featured character of the game, Raging Blast 2. And the footage I needed for this reenactment was placed in the very best place of all, on a copy of Raging Blast 2, because yes, the plan to eradicate the Super Saiyans comes with Raging Blast 2. So this reenactment had very accessible footage for me. That was an awesome thing, and that made things very much easier for me. And, well, that's how reenactment of Plan to Eradicate the Super Saiyans came to life. But now, it's time to move on. Huh, would you look at that? I had forgotten my bell. But, would you look at that? 2 newcomers right off the bat. I must say, I was expecting to have at least 1 newcomer this year while I was following my analytics. Sorry, I have a bit of trouble saying that word. The joy of being a Frenchman speaking in English. But yeah, I was expecting at least 1 newcomer this year. But to have 2, both together, well, that's a surprise even for me. But that's a good surprise. I'm very glad we have 2 newcomers in the top 10 this year. So congratulations to Plan to Eradicate the Super Saiyans, and congratulations to Fusion Reborn. Now then, we can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show because, well, the rest of these are just old ones, so enjoy the rest. Number 8. History of Trunks. Number 7. Broly, Second Coming. Number 6. BoJack Unbound. Number 5. Return of Cooler. Number 4. Broly, Legendary Super Saiyan. Number 3. Super 113. Number 2. Knocked down from the first place after 2 years, episode 200, The Android Saga. And after being tossed aside for 2 years by episode 200, is the return of Cooler's Revenge in the first place. And there you have it. That is the end of the top 10 for the reenactment this year. I must say, with only 2 newcomers, that went by pretty fast. But hey, that was 2 newcomers. Last year we only had 1, so it went by even faster. So, thank you for watching, and whoa, what am I saying? This is top 10 reenactments and reverse. So, now that we are done with the reenactments, let's find out if we have any newcomers in the Dragon Ball Reverse series in their top 10. Surely there must be some new ones. I mean, the series ended. Yeah, spoiler alert. I have lost contact with the writer and I tried today, but I no longer have access to his info on Google Plus for some reason, and I have no way of reaching him otherwise. So, until I hear from him, I declare Dragon Ball Reverse finished. I'm sorry guys, it had to be said. You know what, let's enjoy the top 10 before we get too sad. Number 10, Goku's turn. Number 9, 2 Super Saiyans. This episode of the Dragon Ball Reverse series is actually the first newcomer of the top 10 this year, at the 9th position. Because, well, it wasn't in the top 10 last year, but this year it is. Now, 2 Super Saiyans, it was obviously the first episode to feature the birth of the Super Saiyans in the series. But this episode did not only mark the arrival of the Super Saiyans, it was actually the first episode where it marked the arrival of Frieza's family, Cooler and Cold, because we were including all of Frieza's family in the whole thing. That way the movies could be incorporated into the series, as well as the series itself. And, well, there isn't that much to say about this, because, as you can see here, there was a lot of cutscene going on. And, well, for this one, Ultimate Tenkaichi did the job. If there is at least one thing Ultimate Tenkaichi did right, well, maybe not all the time, because the voice acting did change back and forth in between the Kai voices and their original voices. So, never mind, it didn't do anything right, even the cutscenes. But the presentation is okay, for what I needed, I guess. Anyway, I didn't have much to say about this episode, so let's move on to number 8. Number 8, Super Saiyan 3 Brody. Number 7, Majin Buu's Revival. Now, I will be honest with you guys. When I went to grab this episode, I was not expecting much from this. But I saw the amount of view. It felt fairly okay for a regular episode from the Majin Buu Saga and Reverse series. But then I wondered, I saw the like. I saw the amount of likes. And it got me thinking, what is it that made people like this video so much? Then I watched now, and now I think I know. I think I know why this episode became so popular and why it actually made the top 10 this year. It is all because of this fight that we are watching right now. The Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. When we have Goku versus Vegeta battle, the fanboys and fangirls are out there encouraging their preferred character and sure of it. We all know how much everybody loves their Goku versus Vegeta. And now that they are both Super Saiyan 3 in this battle, I think this may be what they liked. This may be the explanation to why this episode made the top 10 and is liked so much. So, thank you for the support guys with this episode. I'm glad you liked it. I worked hard on it, and I made my best to make the fight as epic as possible, because I know how much you expect out of a Goku vs Vegeta fight. Thank you a lot. But, as fun and all this can be, we have to move on to the next one. Number 6, the final attack. And it was very final, because this was actually the finale of the series in 2014. This was the final episode of what could have been considered Dragon Ball Z Reverse. This was made with one very important goal in mind, well, at least in my mind. I wanted this episode to be as lengthy as possible, and by as lengthy as possible, I mean as long as a real anime cartoon. Anime cartoon, is that not saying the same thing twice, but one time in Japanese and one time in English? Well, whatever. The thing is, my main goal was to create an anime of 22 minutes, the same length that you would watch on TV. And I'm glad to say that if you cut out the ads that you would usually have in between moments, I was successful because I had a full-length 22 minutes episode. And that's how long they last where I live, 22 minutes. So I'm glad to say that the final attack, the final episode of Dragon Ball Z Reverse, was a success. A very satisfying success, because this was the lengthiest and the longest, I am again saying the same thing twice, it was the longest thing I had ever done. Making an episode that long, I had never done this before. Well, I am not talking about the specials that I do for the Dragon Ball Z reenactments here. I'm talking about What If stories. This is the longest episode for What If series. That's what I mean. At least up to today. But who knows? Maybe that will change once I release Dragon Ball Z. We'll have to wait and find out. Number 5. Gohan's final attack. Number 4. The World Tournament begins. Huh. Life has a funny way once in a while, doesn't it? I mean, last year, in 2014, number 4 of the top 10 in the River series was the Cell Games Begin, which also is, in a way, a tournament. And this year, number 4 is the World Tournament Begins. So, did I just hear my own voice? And after double checking, the answer is yes, I did hear my own voice. I did not even remember that I did a narrator thing for this. Wow. Sometimes life does have a funny way of reminding you of things. Not only does this episode remind me of the number 4 of last year, but I also did a first here. Because I don't think in any other What If I actually did a narrator voice. I was only using the Dragon Ball backdrop and then putting text on top of it. And that's how I used to do the narrator thing. But in this episode, for the first time ever, I actually spoke and took a big voice to pretend that I was the narrator. That's a new one even for me, because I did not remember that. Huh. Well then, who knows, maybe I will do that even more in the future. Who knows? With that, you know, upcoming series. Speak of the devil. Number 3, the Cell Games Begin. Number 2, the Death of Goku. So it would appear that last year's number 1 has been knocked down. The Death of Goku, who was number 1 last year, is no longer number 1, it is now number 2. Well, number 2 is still good, but it's not number 1. Let's find out who knocked him out. And by who, I mean what episode. Let's find out right now. And last but not least, in the pole position, number 1, the Ultimate Warrior. Now, I usually do not let the episode play out when I already talked over it in a previous top 10. Like this one, it was actually the second position last year in the top 10. But however, this time I have new information regarding this episode. In fact, not only is it number 1 of this year's River Series top 10, but it is 1 position away from making it to the lifetime top 10 of my entire channel. This means that if you go to my channel, set the videos to most popular, you will see this in the 11th position. Meaning that ever since the channel started, it will rank up to number 11. And this reminds me, I forgot to mention it earlier during the Reenactment episodes. I mean the Reenactment top 10. But Plan to Eradicate the Super Saiyans has officially entered the top 10 lifetime of my videos on my channel. Which means that next year, when I do the top 10, I may do something different. Especially because next year is gonna be our 5th year. Yeah, already 5 years I'm running, guys. Time flies, doesn't it? But this year is the 4th one. So, let's focus on that. We'll see what we do next year. Well, we're done here. Oh. Sorry, I'm kind of leaving without finishing this. So, yeah, we're done with this year's top 10 for both reenactments and what if stories. I hope you guys have enjoyed, because I sure have enjoyed making this episode for you guys, and I can tell many people are tuning in. It was only a few months ago that I was doing my 2000 subscriber special, and we're already almost at 2400. And at this speed, we'll be at 3000 in no time. So what I'm trying to say is, thank you very much for your support, guys. It's highly appreciated. And I promise you, I will be working hard on episode 300, the full Majin Buu saga. I will release it this year. And by this year, I mean sometime in 2016. I'm going to focus on this and only this, or mostly this, because it has to be done. The regular reenactments have been on hold for far too long. They need to resume, and for them to resume, I need to finish episode 300 first. So, I promise you, in 2016, episode 300 will be completed. And no, there's no end. That's it. The only end is the end. Thank you for watching, thank you for your support, and enjoy the next year. Happy New Year, everybody!
To be